bubble this up.
Yeah, bubble this up. That's going to be our catchphrase from now on. Bubble this up.
It's not.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Tim, as always, joined by the magnificent Bob.
Magnificent.
That's right.
Crazy tall.
Yep. And Bob is bubbling up over here because last week, or actually Sunday, we saw Avengers Infinity War.
Yes.
Magnificent movie. We're going to spoil it, so if you're, if you haven't seen it, just shut this off now because we're going to spoil the crap out of this movie. We're going to talk about that towards the end. But just a quick catch-up. So you've been playing the God of War.
Yeah.
Or just, it's not it's just God of War, right?
God of War.
God of War.
Also known as Dad of Boy.
Dad of Boy.
Yeah.
It's called I've Got a Big Old Beard.
It's, old man Kratos.
Yeah. He's looking more and more like Thor to me.
I guess so. I mean, I haven't really encountered Thor. There's only a statue of him in the game so far. I don't know if you see him.
Does he look like Kratos?
No.
No?
Not in that statue, but I mean, he's wearing his Thor armor.
Oh, does he have the big old wing hat?
I don't remember. Because that statue's no longer there.
Oh, man. Did you bust that statue up?
I think so. I definitely busted a giant statue, and I'm pretty sure it was the Thor statue.
Sacrilege.
No.
So what more stuff have you found out? Like, first, I think, like last week, you had said that you played about 40 hours in.
No?
Like
4 hours.
4 hours. Okay. Oh, you said it was like
the game is like 40
hours.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I was like, wow. Because
you get the value out of this game.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a great game. The combat's getting better. I've learned that you should actually upgrade yourself. So don't play it the way I was, because I was just base level 1 and I was doing things that were very difficult.
Okay.
For not really any good reason.
Yeah. So you've been leveling up, as they say?
Yeah. You level up your gear, and that's how you level up in this game. And you get new abilities and things like that. But there's some really cool abilities. And the Leviathan Axe is just a monster. It works like Meow Meow.
Oh, like Meow Meow?
Yeah, where you can throw it, and it'll stick in place, and you call it back.
So like Thor's hammer?
Meow Meow.
Like Meow Meow. Yeah.
Rest in peace, Cat Dennis.
But she didn't die.
Didn't she?
No.
How do you know? Oh, spoiler alert, we won't talk about it, man.
That's very true. We don't know who survived from that cast.
Exactly.
That would explain why she wasn't in the last movie. Or Natalie Portman.
Or, the fact that Natalie Portman probably doesn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
They don't really have any reason to cast anybody else.
It's true.
They barely had that cameo with Skarsgård.
Yeah, Skarsgård.
Skarsgård in, what was it, Doctor Strange?
Was he in Doctor Strange?
He showed up in one of the after credits scenes where he was talking to Doctor Strange, I think.
Okay. I do know he was in, what was it? He was in the Avengers, like Age of Ultron.
Maybe it was that.
I remember him showing up in that.
No, he was important in that, right?
Yeah.
I thought he just showed up somewhere in that cameo. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, well.
Spoiler alert for every Marvel movie. There's a Skarsgård in it. But anyway,
right.
I have still yet to encounter another character that talks. I encountered one more. So far, there's 4 other human beings that are not villains.
Okay.
That talk.
And there are other people in this, not like just they're not like hiding gods or anything like that.
They're not hiding. One of them is the Mimir.
Okay.
And it's like stuck in a tree, and I don't know if you've ever seen footage of God of War, like even from I think their second showing at E3, they had this. At one point, the only way to get him out of the tree is like you take his head and you go get it revived.
Oh, okay.
He just hangs out with you and gives you tips.
Okay, I think I've actually seen that, which I thought was odd.
And he's Scottish for some reason.
Oh, that's weird. That's actually kind of almost reminds me of there's a comic called Headlopper, where he has,
of course it is,
which is amazing. It looks like if Adventure Time crossed over with Conan the Barbarian, And
sounds good.
It's a lot of fun. And they call him Headlopper because he lops off people's heads.
Oh,
but he also carries a witch's head that talks to him like everywhere he goes. And sometimes helps him out on his adventures.
Insanity.
It's fun.
It's pure insanity.
Yep. It's a good time.
But yeah, I mean, everything's really polished. I haven't found any complaints about it yet, aside from the fact that there's just it's very. They said it was open world. They're kind of right. It's open area. You can go to certain things, but you have to progress through the story to unlock everything. It works. The closest I would say is like Grand Theft Auto 4, right?
Okay.
Or any of the Grand Theft Autos, so like Vice City or San Andreas. You have all these islands, right? You can go to.
Right.
Only you can't because the bridge is under construction. You need to get further in the story
to unlock that part.
So it works the same way as that.
Okay, so it's almost even like what was it, like Shadow of the Colossus?
Yeah.
Like where you couldn't go to the next Colossus until you beat the one that you're already like heading towards.
Correct. And they there's a fast travel system, but I think the reason you can't go everywhere in the world yet, or one of the reasons, is that the fast travel system isn't open yet. You have to be further along to get to that. And to give you an idea of where I am, I'm not at that yet.
Okay.
If anybody else is playing it out there. But yeah, it's a great game. And it is open area. They're not lying about that. And I imagine eventually it'll be open world.
Okay.
Don't tell me an area is a world.
Yeah. So eventually it'll get to the part where it's like you can just go anywhere you want to. You can fast travel to places. Is there stuff like, is it like in Grand Theft Auto where it's like, oh, this guy upgrades your car, or this guy, this is where you go to like save your stuff, or like...
There's no saving your stuff, but there's two dwarves who are brothers who work on your gear, and they're jealous of each other. They used to work together, and now they don't. It's like a whole thing.
Okay. And
every time you see them, if you've got certain items, you can upgrade through them, or you can buy gear. And then it also has rare and epic loot, which I don't know how I feel about that.
Okay.
For leveling up, but I think that's just a sign of where we are in time. Because it's just as easy to say it's level 5 gear.
All right.
You don't need to say it's level 5 epic gear, which is something that they kind of do. And you need special fire garbage to upgrade it.
Fire garbage?
Fire garbage. It's called something
flaming else. Garbage? You need a flaming trash can?
Yeah, man. You need...
you go steal it from two bums that just have to be warming themselves. And be like, I'm your god of war, and I'm here to take your flaming garbage can.
I am the Kratos. I don't know. Well, if I encounter any bums, I'll ask them. But no, like, you need to go to different worlds for different items.
Right.
Apparently, you can farm that stuff. I did a little research because I see all this stuff that I want to buy.
Okay.
And I don't want to invest any of my other stuff because... why would I waste my materials if I'm just going to get this new stuff?
Right.
And that's another reason why I was so low level for so long. It's like, I'm going to keep dropping loot.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I going to pay for this?
Right.
But you kind of need to, or you can't fight enemies. And it does that other thing where it locks you out based on level. At a certain point, you're doing almost no damage.
All right.
And so, like, you'll see enemies that have purple health bars, and you do almost nothing to them.
Okay.
You trust me, you can beat them because I've done it.
All right.
Cheese the heck out of them, but it's probably not the best idea. It's just going to be grindy.
Oh yeah. All right. But you're still enjoying it so far?
Yeah, I'm loving it.
Has the boy improved with his arrows?
The boy has some crazy abilities now. He has summons he can do.
Oh wow!
Where he summons spirits.
He's like a wizard.
He is with his bow.
Maybe it's like Harry Potter.
Maybe
it turns out he's actually Harry. Have you checked his forehead for a lightning bolt?
I haven't. Right now he summons wolves.
Oh, like actual wolves or like spirit wolves?
Spirit wolves of light, and they just attack enemies.
That's cool.
And annoy them. Yeah, it's fun.
It'd be really funny if it was like he could summon real wolves, and then eventually he can't make them go away, and then they attack you.
You do fight real wolves.
Oh, you do?
You fight real wolves and werewolves. There's werewolves.
Okay.
I mean, at least I think they are. They're wolf-like beasts, and they stand on 2 legs.
And do they call them wolves?
They're called like something wolf WULV or
Okay.
to that
And
effect.
it's not like what do they call them, kobolds or something like that?
No.
Okay.
Whatever they are, they're dead. Kratos kills everything still.
Of course.
His Leviathan axe of Meow Meow.
Meow meow. So wait, where did you get the Leviathan axe?
You start with it.
Oh, it just
I'm pretty sure you have it. Yeah, it's the first thing you do in the game is chop down a tree.
Oh wow. Okay.
So somewhere, and sometime they'll maybe tell me that story. Maybe.
Okay. That's just really random that they just like don't ever tell you like, oh hey, you just got this magic axe because, magic.
And there's dragons.
Yeah.
And I fought one.
Oh, you fought a dragon. Did he talk to you and say, stay away from my gold?
He did not, but I did chop out its tooth to enhance my weapon after I killed it.
Oh, okay.
Because that's a thing that the dwarf tells you to do. The dwarf, who sets up a shop right next to the dragon, I don't know what he's thinking.
It's placement. I mean, obviously you're going to go where the supplies are. You gotta, I'm sure there's more than, one tooth he could pull out of there. And maybe if a tooth is good, I'm sure some dragon bones. Maybe he's, thinking, hey, this guy's dead. I can fry him up. Is he a big dragon?
Yeah.
Like, how big?
Kratos can climb inside his mouth and have plenty of room to spare a pig.
Oh, wow. Then maybe he's also going to make a house out of him.
Maybe.
Take his bones, make a house.
Not this dwarf, though.
Oh, okay.
Because the two dwarves also have different personalities, and this one doesn't like dirt or filth.
Oh, wow.
So he's like, you hand him...
You're in the wrong time frame.
You hand him the tooth, and he's like...
Really?
Yeah, he's like almost vomiting.
That is
great.
Hilarious.
Also, he's cross-eyed, but don't tell him. He might not have a mirror.
Wow. But what's the other one like then?
Blue.
Blue.
I don't know why. One is blue.
Like tattoo, blue tattoos?
No,
or
it's just like bright blue.
Wow.
So maybe you'll find that out later. Why that is?
Is the other guy red? Is it like a Superman red, Superman blue situation?
Just like normal tan.
Okay.
There's no reason for one to be blue that I know of.
You're sure they're brothers?
That's what they said.
I think they're brothers from another mother.
They might be. Maybe one's Frost Giant.
That's what I was thinking. Frost Giant mom.
Maybe it's Thor and Loki, and they've been turned into
dwarves. That would be actually pretty funny. I would watch that as a TV series. Explains why one's really grossed out by stuff, and the other one is not.
Two broke dwarfs.
Two broke dwarves.
I'd watch it.
Yeah, Kat Denny could come back to it.
Yeah, she could say meow meow.
Meow meow.
But that was Dad of Boy.
Dad of Boy, and you're doing good with that?
Yeah.
All right. I'm sure once you beat it, we'll have a full discussion on it. And no rush on it. We don't want to spoil it for anybody yet.
Yeah, give me about a month.
Okay. Wow.
It's long.
All right. Next, we're just gonna do some little hits that I found out last week. They're going to do a Fast and Furious cartoon, which is just
amazing.
It's going to be about Tony Toretto, Dominic Toretto's cousin, I think, some sort of family member, because it's all about family.
That's what it is.
It is, and I haven't seen anything for it yet. I can't even imagine what this is going to be. They're already doing stuff that I don't think cartoon characters can do, jumping cars out of planes and all kinds of craziness.
It's great.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
Fighting submarines with cars.
Shootouts with a baby in your hands.
That's right. The Rock just pulls off his cast.
He doesn't pull off his
cast.
He
flexes it off.
That's right.
That's right.
I believe he uses the great line, "Daddy's gotta go to work," to his daughter.
Doesn't he also pick up a machine gun from a helicopter?
Yep.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does.
Or does he shoot down a helicopter with a machine gun? Maybe he shoots down a drone with a turret from another drone?
I don't know.
I know that's the one with, what's his name? Sebastian. No, the British dude. Dracula Untold.
Oh, I was gonna say Boulder, or not Boulder. Bard from Lord of the Rings, or not Lord of the Rings, but the Hobbits.
Bard the Bowman.
Yep. Yeah,
that was guy.
That dude. Well, I mean, he's a good actor. I like him a lot.
Yeah, he's great in everything. So all of those movies are great. We agree. Glad.
Yeah, The Hobbit. Awful.
All of the Fast and the Furious movies.
Oh, the Fast and Furious movies? They're amazing. There's no doubt in my mind they're amazing. I just wonder if it's going to be... Is it going to be a street racing show, or is it going to be we do secret agent stuff kind of show?
I hope it's secret agent stuff.
I was actually hoping it would be like a race show. Like it's like something like that, where it's like almost like him like traveling from like all around the world and like racing thing, like as a racing thing, maybe as his cover, and he does secret missions on the side or something like that.
I'd watch it.
But it's mostly about the racing. Like almost like Speed Racer.
They could bring back some of the characters that they haven't used in a while, like the racers from 2.
Yeah, that's true. That clicked on really loud.
Rampage is happening.
Yeah.
But, Suki, right? Wasn't there Suki?
Was she in the Drift?
She was in 2. Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yeah, but she wasn't in any of the Tokyo Drift stuff.
That's why they bring her over.
Okay.
Make it at least partially canon, because I don't remember Dominic Toretto ever mentioning a cousin.
Yeah, it's true. Or any other family, for that matter.
And street racing scene can't be that big. Then they can make it in Florida, where there's not much else happening.
Wait, does the first one happen in Florida?
No, the first one's in LA.
The second one is Miami. Right.
Starring Tyrese.
Yeah, and Paul Walker.
Yep.
R.I.P.
Third one's Tokyo.
Right.
Fourth one is Mexico and on the border.
Okay.
Fifth one is England. And then...
Wait, it's in England?
But no, it's not the sixth one. That's the sixth one.
Yeah.
Fifth one is Brazil. Right?
I think, because that's the one where they pulled the safe out of the...
Right, and then the sixth one is England, and then the seventh one is Alaska, Antarctica.
Yeah.
Russia, I don't know. Iceland.
Yeah, somewhere where submarine comes through the ice. I don't know.
They're world travelers.
That's right.
Oh, and Abu Dhabi.
Oh yes, because that's where he jumped the car through 2 buildings, not 1 building. 2 buildings.
That's what you do.
That's what you do.
Or was that the 6th one? I don't know. It's tough.
It's
tough to keep up.
There's so many of them, and they pretty much have a lot of the same actors, so it gets a little confusing sometimes.
The one with Ronda Rousey is the one where they jump between the 2 buildings.
Yes. Because she's like personal security person for like whoever the guy who throws that party is.
Yeah.
And they steal his car.
Of course they do.
Which that car was nice.
It's nice. The most expensive car on the planet, Tim.
I bet it is.
And they destroy it.
Actually, did I hear that like Abu Dhabi they have the Warner Brothers world or land or something like that?
I'd love to see that.
I think they're the ones who like have it, and I've seen some stuff from it, and it looks amazing. Like there's like I think there's even like parts that's like Gotham City and stuff like that. They built up like something nice.
Nice.
I forget they were like adding something else in there too, but I'm pretty sure it's in Abu Dhabi, but maybe not. Who knows? But yeah, well, as we find out more, we'll let you know about the Fast and Furious cartoon because it's just too good not to talk about. And then you've been watching some more Black Mirror?
Yep. It still stands that the first one does not exist.
Okay.
First episode, never watch it.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with anything from any of the other episodes, ever.
But could be the harshest episode you've ever seen of any TV show.
It could be, but it also could be the show that makes you not watch it.
It's true.
Right, but I made it all the way to season 3 now, and now they're in America because, as Tim pointed out to me earlier, Netflix bought them. So
Netflix bought it because they want that Black Mirror, because it's like the same thing they did with Riverdale. As soon as they found people like like destroyed the first season of Riverdale. Like on their app, they were like, we're gonna fund the next show you're gonna do, which is gonna be Sabrina, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, which I think they're almost finished with.
Nice.
And this one I think was the same thing. When's Black Mirror, they're like, you're taking too long, BBC, with your Black Mirror. We're gonna fund that, and it's gonna come out on the regular.
It works.
I think there are 3 seasons? 4 seasons?
There's 4.
4 seasons.
I'm on season 3 right now.
Okay.
The end of season 2, maybe that's when they bought him, because
I think it
had
is.
John Hamm. But it was John Hamm and the guy from The Ritual.
Okay, that makes sense.
So, half British.
Yeah.
Then the 3rd season, I think the first episode had Bryce Dallas Howard, and
Right.
it's kind of like, why are you here? This is weird. And then it's all in America, so
Yeah.
it makes sense.
I'm pretty sure it's like after the 2nd season they bought it. Because it was just so successful on their network, so.
But it is what it started out as, which is modern, except for the first episode again, modern day Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
But, it's made modern day, but it's like future.
Yeah.
It's sort of how technology interferes and creates these horrible things.
Yeah. Which is almost what things are now, but a little bit more further along than what we would be now.
Yeah.
So it's almost like imagine it being like 5 years from now. Like every show is almost like 5 years from when you're watching it. So what could happen, what eventually might happen, and just like the craziness that'll ensue.
Well, the one with John Hamm might be my like favorite. This is so close to happening. If it only could do this one thing, I wouldn't be amazed if it was happening.
Oh wow!
So there's like these memory chips that people put in their head, but it's almost like how you socialize as well.
Oh, okay.
And it allows you to block people.
Oh, really?
So his wife has a fight with him.
Okay.
And she just blocks him. So she can't hear or see him. He can't hear or see her. You just see like this silhouette of like static.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it's like blocking somebody on like Facebook or whatever.
Yeah, but it's like crazy.
That is kind of crazy.
Because, let's say you accidentally block somebody or whatever. I don't even know how that would work. But then they add in like legality to it.
Okay.
Like she blocks him. Somebody else gets blocked, and then they go to a police station and file a restraining order, and then it's like legally binding blocked.
Oh wow!
So like you can't even write letters to this person who can't see or hear you.
So they could be like occupying the same space, but they wouldn't even know because it's like.
Well, they'd see this static.
But you don't even know that could be anybody.
Well, if you blocked more than one person, it could.
Yeah.
And they also see the reverse. Like you don't see them, they don't see you.
Right.
So yeah, like that's crazy.
That is kind of crazy. That sounds like a good episode. So at least it sounds like they're doing pretty well with the show.
Yeah, so far, like they've yet to disappoint me, except for that first episode. Not gonna let it go.
Well, that was the BBC one, and if you're a hardened veteran and if you watched that episode, just makes it all the better when you get through all the other episodes.
The second episode is so much better.
I know.
Even if they'd have let in with the second one and then done the next one,
I think that they did it the right way.
I think you're wrong. I think they're going to lose a lot of watchers based on that first episode.
I think they'll do okay. So another show I've actually been watching on Netflix, I'm just going to talk about it briefly. The new Lost in Space is actually really good. It's less sci-fi than I thought, and then there are parts of it that are very sci-fi, but it really is kind of about like a family, which I always thought was like the thing that you kind of lose. Like I remember even watching that one that was the Gary Oldman and
Matt LeBlanc.
Matt LeBlanc
and
one.
Heather Graham.
Yeah, and what's his name? Not John Hurt. Oh man, what's his name from? In fact, he was in the Avengers. He plays General.
William Hurt.
William Hurt. That's who it is.
That's right. I forgot about him.
Yeah, he played the dad. But this one, I have to say, I really like the characters. Like everybody kind of has like they the kids act like kids. They do things that I would imagine. Well, I mean, things that I remember doing as a kid and stuff. They've definitely cast it well. They've really thought about like how like the family works. There's a whole bunch of like there's a bigger mystery that's going on, and this whole season kind of leads up to almost them. Well, I can't really go into it, but it really goes into like what happens to them and like that stuff, and it's like how they became lost in space and all that stuff. But I mean, the science is really there, but like every episode is like a crazy amount of obstacles that they have to overcome to like try to get home and stuff. So it's done well. The Parker Posey plays Dr. Smith, and I love that like she's in this. She does a really good job, and even there's like a surprise cameo from who replays her sister, which I kind of like.
A surprise cameo.
Well, it's. I didn't know she was going to be in it, but it's cool. I don't want to kind of reveal.
Is it Party of Five?
It is not the Party of Five, but it was. It's definitely worth watching. I would say I breezed through it in about like 3 or 4 days, and I think every episode was good. I can't think of one episode that I didn't like or was like, oh, this is kind of dragging. It definitely moved, and a lot of other like smaller good actors are in it, character actors and stuff. So it's definitely worth watching. So
I'm excited to check it out.
Check it out.
Check a look.
All right, so we've gotten through that stuff. Let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Man, I had one muffin.
I know. Oh, yeah. The stick boy over here is talking to me.
Yeah, okay.
I have like eaten you. That's what it looks like.
I think there was glue on this seat.
Maybe.
Like tied down.
So, if you didn't hear at the beginning of the show, spoiler alert for Avengers Infinity War, because we're about to spoil the crap out of this movie. And I'm going to say, I loved it. I thought it was amazingly well done. And it isn't. Don't go in expecting a happy movie. This is like 10 times worse than Empire Strikes Back or anything like you could possibly imagine as like a middle kind of a movie or whatever.
It works though.
It really does.
I mean, you can make something really depressing and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But a lot of the great movies are depressing in a way.
That's very true. But this one, I heard a lot of like disappointed kids.
Oh man!
I think in the theater we had a kid who said like, "This sucks."
Yeah, this was the worst movie ever.
Worst movie ever. Probably because so many people die, and we're about to talk about all of it. So I guess we'll start at the beginning. Movie starts out with a distress call coming from the Asgardians.
Yeah.
So the end of Thor Ragnarok, Thanos shows up. And basically attacks, Thor's ship, and I guess beats the crap out of everybody, including the Hulk.
Yes.
And he's like, "Hey Loki, I want my Infinity Stone, or I'm going to crush your brother's head." And Loki's like, "Go ahead and do it. I don't even like him," but of course he gives it up. And then, not too long after that, Loki dies.
Yeah.
So
harshly.
Yes. It's pretty harsh, some of the deaths. And also Heimdall, Idris Elba is killed in this as well.
But not before he sends the Hulk back on the Rainbow Bridge.
That's right.
Which I had to explain to my coworker. Saw the original Thor.
Okay.
But she did not remember the Rainbow Bridge.
Yeah, and he was the guy who kind of transported people around.
Yeah, I was like, he's so important.
Yeah.
He also has the coolest gold outfit.
He does, but he wasn't wearing it. So
no.
He had the sword, though.
Yeah, he really let himself go in Ragnarok.
Yeah, but so, and also it didn't show like some of the other characters. Like they didn't show. I was expecting maybe a cameo from Korg.
I wanted Korg in it.
Or Meek.
I was very disappointed.
Yeah, but
I knew Doug.
I knew Doug. But yeah, so that's how it starts off. He gets that Infinity Stone. I forget like the ones I think it's the Power Stone
Sounds right.
The Space Stone, I want to say.
Probably.
I think that's the one he has because it like makes him able to transport with the blue cube one, but it's actually a stone in there.
And that's the Tesseract.
The Tesseract, as they call it in the other movies, but it's actually an Infinity Stone, which I think they've alluded to that anyways, in the other Avengers movies and stuff. So in this one, so after that, Hulk crashes into Doctor Strange's house.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Hey, we're gonna go get Tony Stark." And this is the other thing. Tony Stark is having a discussion about like he had a feeling that like Pepper Potts is pregnant, and I think that's going to allude to something later. So like they're talking about that. Doctor Strange shows up, and he's like, "Hey, you got to come with me. I got your buddy Bruce Banner. Thanos is coming. Like, so we got to get ready for Thanos." So it starts off with that.
Then they have the Squidward fight.
They have the Squidward fight, which I believe that character's name is
the Maw.
Maw.
The Maw.
Black Maw.
No, just the Maw.
I think it's Black Maw.
They call him the Maw.
They just call him the Maw, but I believe it's called I think it's like the Black Maw or something like that. They took a lot of characters from the comic series Infinity, where Thanos has his like generals and stuff.
Well, they needed it because otherwise it would just be Thanos beating everybody up consistently. Exactly.
So it couldn't have that. They had to have some other characters in there, and they have I think it's like Proxima Midnight.
Yep.
And I forget the guy with the other like spear. I forget his like I want to say like Thrall or something like that, but I don't think that's
they're not even that important.
They really aren't.
Like just the Squidward.
Yeah. Yeah, he gets taken out by Spider-Man.
Yes.
Amazingly. Yes, which then they go at like so that Black Maw shows up and he's like, "Hey, I know you got that stone. I want it. Blah blah blah." And then there's a fight in New York again, where Hulk won't come out to fight, which is
because he got beaten up by Thanos.
Because he gets the crap kicked out of him by Thanos. So it's up to Doctor Strange, Iron Man, Spider-Man, which I love the cameo from what's his name, Ned. On the school bus, that was like perfect. That fit in perfectly with Homecoming, where it's like, "I need you to make it like a distraction." He's like, "Oh, there's a spaceship, we're all gonna die!" Like just screaming on the bus, and that's also where Stan Lee makes his cameo.
Yep.
It's like, "Sit down." It's like, "You've never seen a spaceship before." Blah blah. Love that guy.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He is. So, what are your thoughts so far? Like,
what throughout the movie?
For like
this point?
At this point, like.
So, to be honest, I think it's important that we make note that Wong was there as well.
The who?
Wong.
Oh, yes, Wong.
And he was holding his own.
He was. He was doing well.
He cut off that one thing's hand.
Yeah.
With his space portals.
Yeah. Which I love that idea of just like, I'm going to just throw you into somewhere else.
Yep. Send him to Alaska.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything, like the fight scenes were great. They did a great job of keeping every character's abilities their own.
Right.
Like it wasn't just punch the guy.
Yeah.
There was some of that, but it was punch the guy combined with move through portals or sling a web, and climb on a piece of concrete as it's being thrown at you.
Yeah.
Like it was and Iron Man working with Doctor Strange was kind of cool, even though they don't like each other.
Yeah, which I thought was I think it was just jealous of each other's facial hair.
Yeah, it could be. They both had pretty epic facial hair.
They did.
But yeah, I honestly had no issues with the movie, really. Aside from the one thing, which we'll get to at the end.
Okay. So after this point, they get on Black Maw's ship because it grabs Doctor Strange. So it's basically Peter Parker or Spider-Man and Iron Man get on the ship, and Iron Man gets him the Iron Spider costume or whatever. So he's got that thing
with 6 legs.
With his 6 legs. No, it's 4.
I think there's 6 that come out the back. Right?
I think it's
4.
I think it's 4.
Okay. Well.
It does look like there's more there, but I think it's only 4, but maybe not. I don't know.
But that suit's important because it allows him to breathe in space.
It's true, and also, like we were just talking about, it gives him those extra arms, which are kind of like that actually comes in handy.
Yes.
And he had that suit for a while. I think he even uses it like later. Like there's a version of like when Doc Ock takes over and he becomes Superior Spider-Man, and he has like those extra arms too to his costume.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's actually a good idea. Come in handy, literally. So they basically take Black Ball and shove him out into space, which pretty much kills him.
But meanwhile, 2 of the other things are going after the Vision, trying to get the stone out of his head.
Right. And
he's hanging out with Scarlet Witch.
In a hotel.
Yeah.
Wonder what's going on there.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But, as soon as he figures it out, he's like, you gotta kill me.
Yeah.
Like, he just immediately wants to die.
Yeah, it is kind of strange that he's just like, just break this stone, because obviously it's, it's what they're after.
Yeah. And
the fight's pretty good. And then, of course, Cap makes his sweet, entrance, and Black Widow and Sam show up.
Yeah, Falcon.
So Falcon shows up, and they just kick the crap out of these 2 generals or whatever. I'm trying to think after I think it's they decide to go to the Avengers headquarters in New York.
They got the call from the Hulk.
That's right. They got the call from the Hulk.
And they don't go to Avengers headquarters in New York, do they? They go where War Machine is. So
he's in upstate New York.
Okay.
That's where the new headquarters. Because it was kind of stupid to have it in the middle of the city.
Yeah.
It always gets where they always get attacked.
And he basically tells them, stuff's going wrong.
Yeah.
Get a hold of Iron Man and whatnot.
Yep. So they figure out, we need to go to... I don't know how they figure to go to Wakanda, though. I can't remember that. How they figured that out.
They need... What did they need? They needed something there. The technology to get the stone out of Vision's head without killing him.
That's right. That was the whole thing. They don't want to kill Vision. But, obviously, the smarter choice would have been probably just kill Vision at that point. But...
we forgot the other story.
Yes, well, we'll get into that, too. So they're going to go to Wakanda to get the stone out of his head because they think they can do it there.
Yeah.
So while that's all happening, the Guardians of the Galaxy are...
they respond to the distress
call from the Asgardians, and they find apparently the only one who survived was Thor, as he smacks against their windshield.
Yep.
And then there's a whole big, it's actually really funny. I have to say, out of all the scenes, those were my favorite. And I know that James Gunn actually came in to write their actual Guardians.
Oh, is that how they did it? Yeah, that makes sense.
He wrote all their scenes and stuff. They were well, it's who else knows these characters better? So why not just have him write the dialogue? So he comes in to write their actual dialogue. It's funny. They have some good exchanges, and everybody seems to act like how they actually act. And then they kind of comes to the whole thing where hey, we need to, Thanos is going for these stones. They're going to be on Earth. We need to stop him, but I need a weapon to basically that'll kill Thanos.
Yeah.
So he's going to go with Rocket and Groot to get this weapon from Nibelheim or whatever. I forget the name of the place, but basically where they make all the weapons.
Yeah.
Where his hammer was made and all that stuff, because he doesn't have that anymore.
And the other half of the Guardians split off to go try and stop him at Nowhere.
Yeah.
Which was the planet from the first Guardians.
Where the Collector was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because he has the Reality Stone. I do remember that. So the Collector has the Reality Stone, and because I think that after it was Thor: The Dark World, they gave it to him to keep guard or whatever. I don't know why, but sure. So they go there. They basically find that the place has been like destroyed. Well, it doesn't seem like that at first, but they try to take down Thanos. It looks like Gamora basically stabs him to death, but of course, because you have the Reality Stone, it's like whatever you want people to see or whatever.
Yeah.
So he's been there. He like was there way ahead of time and basically destroyed this place. And Gamora actually knows where like pretty much the last stone is. She knows where the Soul Stone is.
Yeah.
So she is like, she asks Peter to kill her, blah, blah, blah. He almost does, but Thanos stops him, of course.
Yeah, changes his ammo to bubbles.
Which I thought was kind of, like, the Reality Stone was kind of the interesting one. I was like, how is that going to, like, affect things? And there's literally, like, a part where it looks like Drax is just, like, falls to pieces. Like, he's, like, broken like a puzzle. And I think he makes Mantis look like an accordion.
Yeah.
Which is
very strange.
Very strange. So they basically lose that fight and lose Gamora. And then I'm trying to think what happens after that.
Thor and Rocket find the planet.
Right.
The star is no longer lit.
Right.
So they have to reignite that.
They have to reignite it.
From the dwarf.
From the dwarf, which ends up being Peter Dinklage.
Yes. Which
is like crazy. Like I was like, I had heard maybe he was going to make a cameo, but I was not expecting him to be this character. And Dinklebot. And he's like they make him look like a giant, which is also kind of weird. Because why? I don't know.
Maybe it's a thing in the comics. I don't know.
No, because the dwarves that make they look like they look like the dwarves from Lord of the Rings.
Oh,
basically.
But then there's no reason.
There's no reason. Maybe that was just like a choice. They were like, we're just gonna make it giant.
And they find him like his hands are like locked in rocks or lava, like something's going on.
Yeah, like his hands are messed up.
I think they have something over it, like a stone or something. So, Thor's like, "Can you help me make a new weapon?"
Right.
They reignite the star, but he can't find the handle. And what happens then, Tim?
Then Groot makes a handle out of his arm.
Yes.
Which is pretty awesome, actually. I kind of thought that was cool.
Which had been preemptively spoiled for me. Because the pop of Thor has Stormbreaker.
Has Stormbreaker, okay.
And there is a Groot arm on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I was like, maybe Groot's gonna die, but no.
No.
And it grows back instantly, which is weird.
What do you mean?
The next time you see him?
Yeah.
Literally the next time you see him, he's in Wakanda.
Yeah.
And his arm is back.
Well, he had been doing that, I think, in like the other ones too, didn't he?
I thought it took a while. Like, maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe it was just because like old Groot.
Maybe.
Because I think there's a part where his arms get cut off in the first Guardians, and they grow back by like the next scene. But it's not like immediately. Maybe it's like as you get older as a tree, it's harder to grow your arms back.
Maybe.
I can see that.
But we also had, so now Gamora is on the other planet with Thanos.
Right.
And who do they encounter?
They encounter, oh man, I can't remember her name. Karen Gilliam.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
And Thanos he's torturing her.
Torturing her, which I actually kind of, she's, like her screams, like, that was like a bit disturbing. It was weird.
It was a rough torture.
It was
either way.
He was like basically like pulling her apart, like all the metal in her body. Nebula, thank you. I couldn't think about what her name was for a second. But she does a great job. And eventually I think like after her and Gamora and Thanos leave to go get the Soul Stone, she escapes.
Yeah.
Then she goes and joins the Guardians or whatever.
She goes to where Iron Man and Doctor Strange land.
Right.
Because they crash on the planet that they're supposed to meet with Thanos. The Maw is supposed to meet with Thanos.
Right. But they've already killed him, so...
Right. He's super dead.
He's super dead in space somewhere.
They're not very good pilots.
Right. They try to land. It does not go well.
And that's like, they don't leave there at the end. Like, that's where Iron Man is.
Right.
So, continuing.
Right.
We then have Wakanda.
Right.
A bunch of ships land, and Proxima Midnight and that guy with the axes on the chains.
Which I don't know his name in the movie. I know in the comics his name was Black Dwarf, but they changed his name because they didn't want to use Black Dwarf. Like, people look it up or whatever. I think it's like, I think what they changed it to. He doesn't say anything.
No. Two of the characters I don't think say anything. I think just Proxima and the Maw.
No, the other guys do talk.
Do they?
Yeah.
Well,
her husband talks. The guy with the other spear.
Okay. Well, they get in the big fight, and that's
they do.
Epic fight scene. Hulk is not Hulk.
Yeah.
He's Banner in the Iron Man Hulkbuster suit.
The Hulkbuster armor.
Yeah.
And it's pretty amazing. I think it's a great fight scene. My favorite part is like the Shield, I guess, is holding out these what in the comics they called the Outriders, but I forget what. I don't even think they call them anything in the actual movie.
Space dogs.
Space dogs, like whatever they are, with 4 arms. So they start like trying to break through the shield, like dying as they do, and then they decide, well, they're going to break through the shield. We're going to, force them through this one section or whatever. And I love the part where they actually like charge, and you see like Cap and like Black Panther like running out in front.
Yeah.
That was great. Like both like just jumping into the fight like right at the start.
My favorite is still the beating up Thanos fight in a minute.
Okay.
With Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, and Iron Man.
Right.
And Mantis.
Right.
And Star-Lord.
Yeah. And it's almost like how it happened in the comics too, except with all the heroes, they try to take Thanos down and get the Infinity Gauntlet off him.
Yeah. And they basically just trap him.
Yeah. And they almost get it off him.
But then
Star-Lord messes it up.
Well, how?
Oh, okay.
Did we mention what happened there?
No, we didn't mention.
We
should
mention that.
Yes, we should. So to get the Soul Stone, Gamora knows where it is, so they go to that planet. Turns out the guardian of the stone is the Red Skull.
Yep, which is weird.
Which is weird, because then I was like, oh yeah, because they thought, because in the movie they thought the Tesseract was just like some energy weapon that blasted people and they just disintegrated. What actually it was doing was teleporting people. So he got teleported to whatever this planet is, and then he watches over the Soul Stone.
That's all he does.
Yeah.
And he has a cloak.
It was really strange. I was like, alright, that's weird to have him as a cameo, but sure. I mean, they could always, if they make more Captain America movies, they can always bring him back.
It's true.
But he didn't seem to be too thrilled to do anything. He was just like, hey, if you want to get the Soul Stone, you gotta kill something you love.
Yeah, and Gamora's like, there's nothing he loves. And Thanos is like, no.
Yeah, because apparently he loved her, which is, he loved her in a weird way, but I guess he did love her. It's like a weird father-daughter thing, and he throws her off the top of a mountain.
Yep, she does not make it.
No.
So he grabs the stone.
Yeah, gets that stone.
And then immediately goes to the next planet where he finds the trap laid for him.
Right. So,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, Iron Man, Star-Lord, Mantis, Spidey, Drax, and Doctor Strange. I think that's it.
Yeah, I think so. And
all is going really well until Star-Lord finds out that Thanos killed Gamora.
Yeah, Nebula should just kept her mouth shut.
Yep.
But that didn't happen.
Nope. Thanos wins.
Yeah, Thanos basically beats pretty much the crap out of them. Stabs
them with the moon.
Hits them with the moon
first.
Yeah, he basically pulls down meteors from a moon, and then also does crazy stabs Tony with his Iron Man armor.
Yeah,
which was crazy. Him and Doctor Strange have an amazing I would say that was like the best Wizards fight I've ever seen, and I think it was even better than the Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah, even when Spider-Man is like teleporting his punches.
Yeah, he's just like he keeps like transporting him like through, and just like he's just kicking and punching him like just nonstop.
Yeah,
like I think they did an amazing job with that fight. It was definitely worth the movie for that.
That was my favorite fight.
It was like everybody was just doing crazy stuff. It was really good.
Yeah.
But of course, Doctor Strange, and this is the other thing that kind of Doctor Strange goes into, is like, before they have this fight, he's got the time stone. He basically does a quick, I guess, scenario where he goes through all of time.
And it's the scene from Next with Nicolas Cage.
Right, where he's all blurry and like stuff like that. And basically he says like we only win in like one scenario out of like 1 million.
It's like 14 million or something.
Yeah, insane amount. But that, I think, also is why he gives Thanos the Time Stone. Because he knows that the only scenario that they win in is because Tony Stark is alive.
Think so?
I think that's the whole thing behind it. I think if he wouldn't have given the Time Stone and like he killed Tony, they would have lost. I think that has to do with like why they end up winning eventually. I don't know. We'll see in the next movie, but we're going to try to go through this really quick.
Yeah, we have to.
Big fight.
Thanos comes back to Wakanda.
Thanos comes back to Wakanda. They couldn't get the stone out of Vision's head, but Scarlet Witch basically does destroy it and seemingly kills Vision.
Yep. Then
Thanos pretty much reverses time.
Yep.
Which I knew that was going to... Yeah, he just twists it back, and Vision's alive. He just rips it out of his head, and he gets the whole thing. Thor was there. He does... Like, they all try to go at him, like, really quick to, like, get him to stop, and then Thor plants that Stormbringer axe in his chest, and you think that killed him, but then all of a sudden he clicks his fingers.
Well, he says, you should have aimed for the head.
Yes, and then he does it. He basically wins. He does the whole thing where he's like, and even he foreshadows like what he's going to do at the very end of the movie, where it's like, I'm going to, after I've just killed half the universe, because honestly, I think this really was a Thanos movie.
Yeah.
Like, if you took nothing else, like, just watch this one movie, Thanos is kind of the hero of this movie.
To himself.
And he does what he set out to do. He destroys, takes half the life out of the universe to, he thinks it's like, to keep the other half alive. There's only so many supplies. Life is like there's too many people or too many aliens, whatever. Yeah. There's too much of everybody. And then people just start disappearing. And
a lot of heroes.
But I did notice that the people that are still alive are the original core Avengers from the first movie.
Yep.
So most of them.
There's a couple others. Like Rocket's still there.
Like Bucky comes back and dies, and like there's a whole bunch of other stuff that happens. I think it was good. I mean, it had a sad ending. There's a part where Spider-Man's begging for his life, like he doesn't want to go. It seemed like a real kind of thing. It was very odd. Like everybody else kind of stoically, like, I'm okay with dying kind of thing, but he actually goes back, normal.
Yeah.
Like I think he has a normal reaction. I think everything was, done really well. I can't wait to see what they're going to do for the next one. I hope it's not just a simple reverse, but
they have to get him back somehow.
I don't know how, but obviously Tony is part of that in some way. But also at the very, very end, if you go to the end credits, this is a huge spoiler. It shows Nick Fury and Kobe Smulders, who plays Maria Hill, and she's like, she starts disappearing, and they're in New York or Washington, and people are disappearing, and then Nick runs for his beeper, and apparently he beeps Captain Marvel.
Yep.
So I'm sure
her little logo.
Yeah, so I'm sure this is going to continue in Captain Marvel, and of course we'll tell you when we go see that one.
Was that before the next Avengers?
Yeah, I think it's going to be the next Avengers. Probably won't be for next year, and in between that it'll be like Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah. Which I don't think is going to be affected.
I don't think it's going to be affected by this. I think it's going to be like maybe the very end is going to be affected by this. Like it'll be like that'll be like the post-credit scene or the very end scene will affect it.
Yeah.
And then also I think in Captain Marvel, I'm sure it'll tie into that. Like at the very end of her movie is going to be like her getting beeped by Nick Fury, and she has to go like help or whatever.
I guess I heard hers takes place in the 90s.
In the 90s, but I heard like Nick Fury's in it and stuff too.
That's cool.
And maybe some characters from the Guardians as well. So we'll see. But as always, we'll let you know when this is going on. We'll give you updates as things go on. As always, I'm Tim Martinek. You can find me on Instagram at Tim Martinek, and you can find Bob
at Bob_Martin MARTON on Twitter.
Yeah. Sorry if we had a little background air conditioning noise, but it's getting warm here, so hopefully you guys are getting out there too. It's some nice weather. But always find us at #PrecariousPixels, YouTube, Stitcher, and iTunes. You can always review us. Alright, so we'll see you next week. Bye!
Bye, guys.
To do a little redesigning with us, you can find Bob at Martin, MARTON _BOB on Twitter, and you can find me on Instagram at Tim Martinek, all one word, TIMMARTINEC. And you can join in us, have some fun, do your redesigns for this week's redesign. It's a lot of fun for us to do this, but we like to see fresh ideas and fresh artists like doing what they do as well. You can also hashtag it Precarious Pixels and we'll find it as well.